Okay, let's talk about it. That graduate school rejection letter. It can feel like a brick wall, right? A total dead end. But what if it's not? In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how to see that rejection for what it is. A strategic detour. Maybe even a necessary plot twist on your way to getting in.
I love this quote from Brené Brown because it just nails the academic journey. It's not supposed to be comfortable. Putting yourself out there, applying to these top programs, that takes real courage, especially when you're staring down a setback. So let's choose courage today.
So, if you're here, chances are you got that email. The one that starts with, "We regret to inform you." And man, it stings. But listen, the most important thing to get right now is that this letter is not a verdict on your intelligence or your potential. It's just a data point, and it is absolutely not the end of your story. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 4 key parts. First, we'll reframe what rejection means. Then, we'll do a diagnostic self-audit. After that, it's all about the relaunch. And finally, we'll give you a clear blueprint to move forward.
First things first. Before we get into strategy, we have to deal with the biggest hurdle, that loud critical voice in your head that shows up after a setback. So let's start by reframing this whole experience, looking at the psychology of what's really going on.
This right here, this is everything. You have to let this sink in. The admissions committee did not reject you. They didn't reject your dreams, your hard work, your potential. They made a decision based on a tiny 1.5-page snapshot of you that they probably spent, 15 minutes reading? That's not you. That's just paper.
And that feeling that the rejection proves you don't belong, well, it has a name: imposter syndrome. And listen, this feeling can be especially intense if you're an international student, maybe from India or China or from across Africa. When you're trying to break into spaces where you don't see a lot of people who look like you, it's so easy to take a no as proof that you're a fraud.
But look at this number, 70%. Almost 3/4 of academics feel this way at some point. So it's not a you problem, it's an academia problem. This isn't a personal failure, it's a baked-in part of the culture. And just knowing that, knowing you're not alone, helps you shift from blaming yourself to building a better strategy. Okay, so we've dealt with the emotional side. Now it's time to put on our lab coats and get analytical. We're going to treat your old application not as a failure, but as a rich set of data. It's time for a diagnostic self-audit.
Now, this is a game changer. So many rejected applications come from people with the doer mindset. They just list their achievements. I did this, then I did that. But a successful application shows a scholar mindset. It tells a story. It doesn't just say what you did, it screams why you did it, what intellectual spark it lit in you, and how it leads to the questions you're dying to answer in grad school.
So, your self-audit has 3 pretty straightforward steps. First, take an honest look at your profile. Your grades, scores, experience. Are there any obvious gaps you need to fill? Second, pull up that old statement of purpose. Was it a doer list, or did it tell that compelling scholar story? And third, and you have to be brutally honest here, was it a good fit, or did you just apply for the big name?
And that last point brings us to the relaunch. Because once you've diagnosed the issues, your comeback is all about one powerful strategic pivot. This is probably the biggest unwritten rule in the whole admissions game. You have to prioritize research fit over the school's brand. This analogy is just perfect. You could be a phenomenal candidate, an all-star linebacker, truly the best. But if that specific department is looking for a quarterback this year, they're not going to pick you. And it has nothing to do with how good you are. They're not just rewarding you for your past. They're hiring a future colleague to fill a very specific need they have right now. So how do you prove you're the right fit? Well, you have to do your homework. Deep homework. For every single school, you need to dig into the work of 2 or 3 professors, read their recent papers, and then, in your statement, explain exactly how your skills and your questions connect to their current projects. This shows you want to join their community, not just get their brand on your diploma. And yeah, it might mean looking at some amazing schools that aren't just the big, famous ones. And trust me, this strategy works. Just look at these stories. Dr. Gina Poo was a first-gen student, so she didn't know all these unwritten rules. After getting rejected, she spent 10 months strategically filling the exact gaps she found in her self-audit. Or Dr. Ni Olaraju, who was trying to switch fields. He got an internship to build the one technical skill he was missing. They didn't just apply again. They were strategic. They relaunched.
So, let's pull all of this together. Here is your clear, actionable blueprint to take you from rejection to relaunch.
It all comes down to these 3 pillars. 1. Resilience. Remember, rejection is data, not a verdict. Your very first step? Call a mentor or a friend who's been there. 2. Audit. You've got to shift from doer to scholar.
Your first step? Open that old statement and get out a highlighter. And 3, pivot. It's all about research fit. Your first step? Just pick one program and go deep on the research of 2 professors. That's it. That's how you start.
So there you have it. You have the framework now to turn what felt like a huge setback into your biggest comeback. This experience can make you more resilient, more focused, and a much, much stronger applicant. You are in control of the story from here. This wasn't the end. It was just the plot twist. Now, go write your next chapter.